What's happening, people? Hope you're well. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the show. I thought I'd bring some boys on and do a What's the Score at 4, which is basically an update of what's been going on around the world of football, particularly in English football and Premier League. It's got to the stage now where just finish the season, man. I'm done. I've had enough. I've had enough now. Like Sava was like finished the season last in October. D was the same. Kaz has still got something to play for, but for me, I'm just too down in the dumps.
You were like this a few weeks ago.
I know I wasn't like it a few weeks ago. Let me quickly introduce. Big up Kaz, big up Sava, big up D. Thank you for joining us today. I've invited Lourdes on, but I think he's still probably drunk from last night's celebrations. So let's see if he is
getting his bald head waxed or something like that. You know?
Probably, man. Probably, yeah, or tattooed or something like.
He was drunk on the stream yesterday, but honestly,
probably having a fight against the ultras yesterday, protecting the family stand. You know.
I mean, like I've got to be real. I was out last night with the boys. I went to a gig, and I've got to be honest with you. I come back, and everyone was talking about Sheffield Wednesday. So, you know, obviously West Ham are this small club. Who cares? It's Sheffield Wednesday.
In the house. They were playing Sheffield Wednesday.
I know who'd care. Yesterday. I know who'd care. This one right here cares about everyone else.
Yeah, wait, hold up. Let's not even get this started because you should be caring about other teams more than Palace. You're in the mud right now. As a United fan, you are in the mud right now.
What Saba does, I'll listen. Go on. You finished.
Shots fired.
No, literally. Your rivals are. You don't run Manchester anymore. First, that's been the case for a while now. And your rivals are about to win the treble. Right now, there should be no smile on your face. This will be the literal worst. Imagine Tottenham winning the treble or Arsenal winning the treble. Like, it can't get any worse.
Hang on. Wait. Can't imagine the Spurs winning the treble.
And the mad thing is, can't imagine you know what the mad thing is? You know what the mad thing is? They're going to win the treble over your head. They have to beat you to win the treble. Like, that is, it can't get any worse than that.
You know what's maddest thing, yeah? Look, I've just met D today for anyone that's actually watching this back, yeah, or now. Before I live with a City fan, right? As in, most people know I live with Daps now. Before I come in, first thing he asks is about Man City. He cares about Man City more than me, and I'm a United fan. I'd rather see, overall, I'd probably rather see City win the treble than Liverpool. That's reality. I hate Liverpool. Man City weren't my rivals growing up. Second of all, this guy wants to talk when he's sitting pretty with Roy Hodgson as his next manager for next season. Big up Roy, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And does anyone know the rivalry?
We probably
does anyone know the rivalry behind Palace because they got mascot wars between a seagull and an eagle.
Not even. Not even. Literally. We don't even beef Brighton. Brighton changed the whole identity.
Brighton won South London now, and I'm from there. How does that make me feel?
They used to be called the Dolphins. They changed to the Seagulls to match the Eagles. That's what they used to be.
The Seagulls.
Not really. One good season. If we're talking about one good season, look at Man City versus Man United. Look at Liverpool versus Man United. Where's Man United been? Where has Man United been all those years?
You know what he sounds like, Sam? He sounds like Tottenham fans towards Arsenal fans saying, yeah, but we finished above you in the last how many years? No. But we finished above them about 6-7 years ago. The reverse picture now. But yeah, but we got Champions League for the last 6 years, mate. So what?
And do you need me here? Shall I just jump out?
Do you know what? Me and Sava are just going to chill. Me and Sava are just going to chill.
Man United right now, just because they won the energy drink cup. Just because they won that cup. They won that cup, and now I'm just seeing mad hype. I'm seeing mad hype like United are back. Come on, let's be real now. United only had one good season, just like Brighton had one good season.
Shitting us.
Roy Hodgson, if we face it right now, we'll probably get a result against you, though. Because we picked up more points.
I can't lie.
Roy Hodgson come in.
Yeah, you probably would.
All right, cool. You know what? It's not Roy Hodgson's fault. It's Potts. How do I do it that way? It's his legend's fault that we're in this position in the first place.
I can't lie. I don't know. You're trying to convince yourself or the panel or who you're trying to convince. Because it sounds like you're building up yourself a taxi paying FM or something.
No, not even. I'm just trying to say, like, the reason why we're in this position in the first place is because of Patrick Vieira, not because of Roy Hodgson. You can laugh about Roy Hodgson all you like.
What's that got to do with me?
You know what the maddest thing is, D? I'm a massive fan. I'm a massive fan of Palace, bro. I literally went to school in Beckenham. I went to school in Beckenham.
So why get into Palace?
You know where Beckenham is, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I went to school there. You probably know what school it is then. So on top of that, how old are you?
I'm 23.
You probably know boys I know. How about that?
I probably do. So why get on to Palace? Why do we start on this note?
No, because you done.
I'm pretty sure. Like Dan hasn't even asked a football question to anyone yet, has he? Like he hasn't even kicked off the show with boys, what do we think about this? You two have just been at it.
No chance, man.
I haven't. I've just responded. I'm letting him get worked up for nothing because he's at the end of the day, like
No, literally, all I'm saying is treble over your head. Treble over your head. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
That's
Kaz, let's start there, Kaz. Let's start there, Kaz. Like treble, you say you're over it. Like I know Saeed's not over it. He's still waiting for something to happen and praying.
Yeah.
Like what is this gonna be seen as a better treble than the 99 Man United treble?
I ain't getting involved in that conversation, mate. They done their way, we done our way. Like it's as simple as that. I'm not gonna downplay their treble. They've had to beat Real Madrid to get into a final. They're gonna have to beat us as well. And they had to come from behind, 8 points behind you boys to go win the title. It's actually very similar to Man United's treble. Went out in the Carabao Cup final, Carabao Cup early rounds, like we did as well. Had to overcome an obstacle. Obviously, Bayern Munich was our obstacle, Juventus, etc. That was the obstacles, and it's very similar if you actually deep it that way. And we won the game towards bar end of the season. We 85 points. I think Man United finished on that season. But obviously they can tip to go about 91 or something like that anyway. So but we can always say City's got this super team. They were gonna win it anyways. Back then, Man United didn't. They got Pep Guardiola this era, the greatest manager. Then obviously back then we had Sir Alex Ferguson, who was dominating English football back then. It's quite similar. Look, they're having their time at the moment. Their time will come to an end eventually. Football works in circles. It's fine, man. Obviously, deep down, it hurts, but I've gotten over it a little bit. It's just like I'm ready for next season. I'm ready for next season. I don't want to look at City. I want to focus on Man United. It's like if they go do it, great. Kudos. I'm actually happy for Daps because he's actually probably my best mate at this point. You know what I mean? I wouldn't live with him if he wasn't. So I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him. When I can't lie, when I could see the joy in his face, that I'm happy for him. Your club, fuck your club, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? So it's just do your thing. They're doing their thing. We've done our thing. I can't be bothered. City actually don't care about what treble's better. The City fans, trust me, I know. And I don't think Man United fans should care either about what they did. We've done a couple three-peats. We've done a treble. They're not the first ones to do it. Cool. Move on.
Sava, let me come to you, man. Because for me, Man United, to be fair, could have a great end to their season if they win the FA Cup and get in top four. Getting in the top four and winning both domestic cups is a quality season, particularly for Ten Hag's first, right? But Man United could also drop out the top four and not win that and only have the Carabao Cup and be in the Europa League. So it could end two ways, right? But for me, this treble that I think Manchester City are going to do, they look unstoppable, they look incredible. The reason I would say it was better than the treble 99, and like Kaz says, he doesn't really care, both of them have done it, and that's cool, is the way that they've done it is just phenomenal. They've blitzed everybody. They've got the best manager. They've got an incredible record-breaking striker. They've beaten Manchester United in an FA Cup to do it. And let's be fair, whether you want to banter Arsenal or call us bottle jobs, we ain't been half bad this season, and they've managed to catch us and out-jump us and do it in that style, beating Real Madrid, and obviously it will be now Inter Milan. Bro, I don't know. Listen, I have utmost respect for people winning the trebles, but if you're going to win a treble, I'd rather do it the way Man City have. What about you, Sava?
Mate, listen, look, first and foremost, let's be honest, winning a treble is winning a treble, right? I mean, these are things that I can't even dream of winning an FA Cup, let alone winning 3 tournaments in a year. But from a football fan point of view, if I take off my hat of who I support, look, City have done it in style. I think that's the only difference. That Man United team, they had their own style, which was, they were just Man United. Well, people from that era will understand what I mean. They were just dogged. The number of games where they needed last-minute goals, last-minute winners, 95th minute, and they got it done. If I'm not wrong, that was the year, the Arsenal FA Cup semi, where it looked like that was all but dead. Came back from that, Juventus. Even in the final against Bayern Munich, right? Look, they were out, they were dead, they were buried. So that was phenomenal. Watching Man City dominate is a completely different experience as a football fan. And look, Kaz, you were in a WhatsApp group with me yesterday when I was talking about this with people. And
which one? Your one or the other one?
The other one.
Don't bother.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Basically, look, people are, how can you be happy for City if it's not your team? And I'm like, look, first and foremost, my team's not in that battle, right? I just like watching good football. And as a football fan, there is not better than sitting back and watching Man City take teams like Real Madrid to the cleaners, like clinically as well. So look, it would be fantastic if they do it for them. I think it's fantastic for British football. But is one better than the other? I don't know. You still walk away with the same prize, right? You walk away with the same prize. So
could be worse. Could be a Palace fan ain't seen a trophy since 92, 93.
But look, do you know what?
Yeah, man.
Do you know what? I think it's more about if City do a treble this year. This is the hardest thing for any team that does a double or a treble. Is the next year you're judged against that, and how many teams do a treble back to back? Right? It's nigh on impossible, right? So it's really difficult. Where does City go from there? Where does Pep go from there? Do they do it again next year? So look.
Wouldn't put it past him, Sava, would you? Doing it again.
You wouldn't. He's the best manager in the world for me by an absolute country mile. He knows when to rotate. He knows when to sell players. He knows what he's buying. He evolves the team from season to season. You look mid-season this year, he's just gone to this kind of three at the back with John Stones sitting in midfield, and all of a sudden 24, 25 games, no defeat. So look, I think there's no difference between the two. It's just the style. It depends on what style you like. But winning is winning.
Winning is winning. D, let's come to someone who knows what it's about winning. Under
No,
Roy
he don't.
Hodgson.
Here we go.
Nah,
You know,
nah,
all right. If we're gonna do that, Potts, you know something about bottling because Arsenal are the biggest bottlers.
We didn't even mention
Here we go.
Arsenal,
And you've
by
had
the way.
it three times in a
Sava's
row.
not
You've had it three times in a
gonna
row.
entertain it because he doesn't like bottling. Even his dog doesn't look. Even his
Yeah,
pug's
look,
taking it away. You know what I mean?
Even the pugs coming to have a word about bottling.
Yeah.
He don't agree. Look, he don't like it.
D, for real though, man. Like, is this Manchester City side the best for you? There's been in the Premier League.
It's hard. What? Just if we're taking away
Just
the
Premier
treble.
League, yeah. Is it better than the 99s?
You know
Is it
what?
better than Pep Centurions?
When
Is
you-
it better than the
When you look at
Invincibles?
the way,
All those
when you look at
guys.
the way City started the season, they weren't even playing at 100%. I think
Agreed.
City turned on the switch just like a few months ago, and then other than that, you know, City haven't. At the start of the season, no one was saying City's going to win the treble.
Can I pause you right there? Is it the same season where Arsenal were like 6 points clear of Man United as well?
What?
Is that the same one? And Man United clawed back and won 2 points in the end, the 99 season, right? So Arsenal's just handing out arse.
Yeah, that's Arsenal for you. That's Arsenal for you, bro. That's nothing new.
We're
That's just
bottling.
Arsenal. They're
We are
special.
bottling, man. We are
Yeah,
bottling.
yeah.
I don't actually mind. I
Exactly.
said this with Sava on his show. I don't mind if people say we bottled it because I actually believe we have. It's
You
about
have bottled it.
terminology and wording.
It's not. Like, Arsenal fans can get at me about it, but you have officially bottled it. You don't go and draw 3-3 with Southampton.
Dan, you know I've got a different opinion on that.
You have.
What
You
is
know
it,
I've got. Listen. I just think. Look, on one hand, everyone's sitting talking about this is the greatest Premier League team we've ever seen. Right? This is the greatest manager that the Premier League's ever seen. This fly is really annoying me because I've got all my windows open. Really annoying me, by the way. Right? On one hand, this is the best ever. This is the best team. Look at their squad. They can rotate De Bruyne and Silva for Mahrez and Foden. Blah, blah. And then in the same breath, we want to say, yeah, but Arsenal bottled the league to the greatest team we've ever seen. For me, Arsenal, I've said that, Dan, you know this, I've said this to you all season.
Yep.
Arsenal, for me, had a great run, but didn't have the legs, the experience, the depth, the talent, the mentality, the experience, the manager to go the whole season. And yeah, there's games you should have won that you didn't. Yeah, you could say that of all teams, right? But I just don't think you had it in you. I think it's just way too soon for you to be winning a league title. That squad, you look at it, right? Put it this way. What I'll say, D, just quickly, man, just before you jump in. Look at this, right? Man City lose Diaz. They chuck in Laporte, right? Man City at the moment have got players like Diaz on the bench. Laporte on the bench, Ake on the bench, etc. Arsenal lose Saliba. They're chucking in Rob Holding. You can't be doing that if you want to win league titles. You can't have that drop off from there to there. And for me, Arsenal, brilliant 11. Once you scratch the surface underneath that, I don't know how anyone thought they were going to win this league. That's just me.
No, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, But if you look at where Arsenal were in the position they were, it's not the fact that Arsenal lost against City or Liverpool. It's the games. Like, it doesn't matter. They still have the depth to beat Southampton at home. We faced Southampton the week before and we beat them at their ground 2-0. Arsenal still had the depth and they still had the players to go out there and not concede 3 goals against Southampton. That is bottling for me. You don't go 2-0 up at West Ham and then that game ends 2-2 in the manner and they nearly lost that game. That is bottling for me. It's the manner of the game.
Why is it bottling? Why is this word bottle come into football though? Why? Like, why isn't it just that they're just not good enough to get over the line?
They couldn't live up to the pressure. They couldn't live up to the pressure.
Yeah, it's pressure.
Or they didn't have. They didn't. But they don't have the know-how. They don't have the know-how. As I said, look at the Everton game last week. Man City, Everton. Yeah, Man City knew Real Madrid were coming up. Man City go, all right, De Bruyne, whoever else it was De Bruyne, one of the other wingers, whether it was Grealish or whoever it was, John Stones. You all go and sit on the bench, right? We got a massive game coming up. Arsenal all year, same 11. That starts to burn you out, and I liken this to when Tottenham were playing under Pochettino in 16-17 or 17-18, where we were blowing teams away. We were brilliant until February. Problem is, by February, you started to see, because it's the same 11 week in, week out, it started to look leggy. It don't matter that our players are better than our opposition.
They rotated a few. Toney, Jorginho's meant to be the next best thing. Who else is there as well? And Nketiah was there as well. Like, he was feeling.
That's not rotating like City.
No, but you see, one sec. You talk about rotating with City, but 16. But City only have about 16, 17 players.
Yeah, but the 4 or 5 they bring in.
There's no drop off. There's no drop off, is there?
There is. Calvin Phillips drop off. Sergio Gomez drop off.
But you're picking 2 players that hardly ever play.
No,
but the rotation they've done.
Cole Palmer is another one.
Yeah, but you're picking players that aren't in the top.
Behind Mahrez and Bernardo.
You said 4 or 5, but we've got to remember, Man City's issue towards the start of the season because of injuries, because they had to rotate and find a new system out. You know what it is, Sam? I know you don't like the word bottle. Yeah, I get it. You can call it choking, call it whatever you want.
Yeah, I just don't think they're good enough.
At the end of the day, when you've been on top of the season for 93% of the season, it's not about the know-how anymore. I think that's just because of pressure itself. And I think, for me, the turning point was Arteta, mate, not knowing how to do his job properly. When you go to Anfield, you're 2-1 up and got a few more minutes to go. It's not just down to the players. I think it's more down. You might as well open your window. But
mate, there's 2 windows open that way.
I think it's more down to the manager, not maybe the lack of experience in a way. But at the end of the day, at the Emirates, Emirates has been bouncing all season long. I think Potts can tell you that. You know, like at the Emirates, no one wanted to go there and face that team. It was too hard hitting. There's no way you should be conceding a couple goals or that sick goal against Walcott. Like, just simple things like that, just basics. So
and it was a comeback as well. Look at the Southampton game at home. It was a comeback. So if they were so leggy, they wouldn't have had that comeback in them, but they still managed to come back and get a result out of the game.
I think Sava's got a point, OD, with the squad. I think everyone knew the squad.
Yeah, but the squad,
I felt personally, I agree with D. I do think we did bottle it. When you're 8 points clear, when you're going to lose it by potentially 8 points, you've bottled it, right? That's facts. But for me, I understand what Sava's saying, that no one expected Arsenal to be there in the first place because their squad was never good enough to be there. So I kind of get where Sava's coming from.
But the narrative changes throughout the season. No one expected Man United to win a trophy and be in the position that they are, but they are.
That's true. The narrative may change, but you've got to remember as well, the narrative changes at Man City, right? So first and foremost, when we're talking about this 8-point gap, it sounds massive, right? It sounds huge. The problem for me, and Dan, I said this to you before these 2 games, the big thing for me, why that 8 points was never a true 8 points, is because 6 of that 8 points was Arsenal versus Man City. They still had to play Man City twice. And that for me was why I always thought, and I've been consistent.
There was a game in hand as well, so it was actually only 5, really.
Right. So this is why, if you look at that Man City squad, we've got to take into account as well, guys. And I don't really care if they bottled or not. For me, they were never going to win it, right? Because Man City, they do what Man City do every February. Every February, it don't matter if they've had a couple of defeats here, and every football fan, it feels like every football fan has dementia this February. They all go, City aren't the same as normal. And then it's almost as
They
like they
win
go,
15 games.
right. It's almost like Pep Guardiola gets them in the room and goes, right, should we stop messing about now and go and win every single one of our games until the end of the season? And then they motor on. This year's no different. But I look at Arsenal when Saliba's not playing. For me, that drop off to Holding is huge. When when Xhaka and Partey aren't playing, Jorginho's a good player, but he hasn't got that engine. He hasn't got those legs in that midfield. When Odegaard doesn't play, when Jesus doesn't play, the drop off for me is massive from there to there. And City don't have that drop off.
Yeah, I get that. But when you look at the games that, for example, Southampton, Rob Holding still should be good enough to make sure they don't concede 3 goals against Southampton. Even against West Ham. West Ham was struggling to score goals all season long. That's why when you put into context, I 100% agree in terms of Saliba to Holding is a massive drop-off. But despite that, they still had good enough players out there available to make sure they don't concede like 5 goals in 2 games against sides that's been struggling for relegation all season long, that's been struggling to score goals. And that's why I feel like Arsenal, and plus Arsenal fans knew this all season long, but they were still saying that they're going to win the league because they knew that they still had.
So here's the real problem, D.
That's why.
So here's the real problem, right? This whole bottled thing is more because of the Arsenal fans that that put out their chests and were going onto all these YouTube channels and Twitter and Facebook and going, we're winning the league, come at us, this is it, the 20-year wait is over. I think it's more about the fans than actually the squad and the manager. But
Arsenal fans made the word, and then the statistics came out that if you want to talk about the true bottle jobs of the Premier League, it's actually Arsenal by a long shot.
Yeah, top 3. Yeah, like literally first, second, third.
They've led them and they've failed. So it is what it is. I don't really
can't deny that. I can't deny that. I think it's been 3 times now. 3 times where we've got to this stage. So
we have to do spots next season. You have to make sure you just don't lose 10-2 to Bayern Munich.
You're not going to be next season anyways, let's be honest.
So, yeah, you just have to start somewhere. If you don't lose 10-2 to Bayern Munich in the Champions League and on mad aggregate, that's still be progress for Arsenal.
When
baby steps.
When Palace actually qualify for Europe, come back to me, let's move, because I do want to talk about something which actually doesn't involve any of our clubs and get your opinions on it very quickly. This Ivan Toney ban, Kaz, let's start with you, man. Where does that lie for you? Do you think this is harsh? Do you think this is about right? Like, where are you? Because I saw something absolutely spot on yesterday, which said, we understand it's horrendously bad, but do we take into account some of these footballers' mental health and some of how easy it could be for these guys to get into it? And what it meant by that was they have it all slashed across their shirts. They have it in all the billboards. Bet365, Paddy Power, go bet, go bet, go bet. When they do that and then they get Kane for it, they have the ban of 8 months, 18 months if you're Joe Barton. On the other side, and this isn't me being salty, this isn't me being bitter, Manchester City have made 115 financial fair play breaches, less than what Ivan Toney has put on, and they're getting nothing in comparison. That's the thing. So what do you think?
Is with the Man City thing, it's not proven yet, is it? So you can't really put that finger there, either. And 2, man, he knows the rules. You know the rules when you enter football, mate. Like, you want to go bet how many times you're going to face the punishment. I think Trippier only bet once, and he got like how much of a month ban? Is it 10
you think you should have got more?
No, I think it's all right, man. I'm like, no, you're gonna because of your position and because of how many people might look up to you because of this. You bet how many times? We'll give you probably the leeway to put it through the summer, but you're waiting half of the season. I think that I don't think it's harsh. I think it's fair, mate. Rules are rules, innit? If you don't implement the rules, you're never going to respect them. Just because you're a player and you're surrounded by this, you know it, mate. You're getting, I hate to say it, but you're getting paid absurd amount of money, mate. You're going to be trained in all different areas. You should know better. You should not. That's what I think. I think it comes down not to the mental. I think it's common sense, mate. You get paid enough to not do the betting stuff anyways. Don't do it.
Fair play, man. Fair play.
Like 200 charges as
what's your thoughts, bro?
It's something crazy. I look, my problem with it is not the ban length, is how it's worked. It doesn't make any sense to have an 8-month ban when there's 3 months of no football. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get the idea of, having. So basically, it's not.
There's 262 of them. That's why.
Yeah, but you have to. I feel like they need to change the rules about it.
He's
Like,
betting
it
himself to
doesn't-
score all the times. I'll be like, you know what? That's fair.
But like it doesn't. But for me, it doesn't make sense in that aspect. But apart from that, I've got no problem with the ban. I feel like they gave him that long of a ban to show others that you can't do it. I think it was like a message to the other players in the Premier League. Not even in the Premier League, just in football in general. Like if you do this, your punishment is going to be like this. Ivan Toney, you might say that's a bit harsh because he has to pay the price to show a message, but. Come on, like he done it too many times. Like it's not once or twice. He's done it too many times. He needs help maybe behind the scenes. He might need help behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I'm not the one to question about that. But you know, there's just the 8 month is fair enough. But it's like the 8 month is kind of pointless. It's not 8 months, is it? Technically, it's not.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. There's no training, no nothing. I mean, he's obviously going to keep himself
He'll
in
do
the
his
gym,
personal.
Of course he will.
Behind the scenes, like you can't. But I wonder what happens with his future though. I wonder if the club still go for him in summer.
He's going to leave anyway.
That's what I wanted to ask, Savra. I'll come to you on this one. Like your thoughts on it, but what happens now? Do Brentford keep him? Is this good news for Brentford? Bad news for Brentford? Would anyone go in for him now, or is he stuck at Brentford? Like, what's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, look, I think if you do something wrong, you've got to pay the penalty. And a bit of it is what D said. It is showing others that hey, we're going to make an example of this, and hopefully that makes people stop doing it. In terms of look, the win, there's no winners here. There's no winners. But for me, the big losers are Brentford, because Brentford are now in a situation where if they do keep the player, they're without their main man. Let's make no bones about it, right? It doesn't matter who's good down at Brentford. Ivan Toney is the man that takes them to where they are, right? He's got 20 goals this season, whatever it is. It's like Spurs losing Harry Kane. So Brentford in a position now in the summer where do they go and buy a star striker, knowing that in 5 months after the season started that they've got Toney coming back? If they do, how much is that going to cost them? Where do they find that striker? Do they sell Ivan Toney and get him on a cheaper deal? Does Ivan Toney's ruined for me what was going to be a massive summer for him in terms of potential bidders. I think there would have been plenty of clubs after him this summer, and much bigger than Brentford as well. So look, there's no winners here. Brentford for me are the losers, and it's a tough. They've got some big decisions to make. Right, the manager came out today and said that they're sticking by him and he's staying at Brentford. But I mean, is he going to come back the same player? Is he going to come back and hit the ground running, scoring goals? Does he need time to get back into the swing of things again? So yeah, look, it's a strange situation, and he's paying the price for what he's done.
Yeah, big time, man.
Ain't it? Because I get what he's saying that Brentford are losers, but if you look at the other side of things, they're going to most likely end up keeping him. Whereas if he didn't get the ban, then he would have been sold in the summer as well. So I think it allows Brentford to keep Ivan Toney probably a bit longer than they expected.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, there's a lot of question marks involved around that as well. Is he going to be fit again? Where no one knows these answers apart from Brentford, because Brentford will still most likely train him behind the scenes. So Brentford, if they keep his fitness up, if they somehow manage to make sure his level of game doesn't drop within that 8 months, they're still going to have a top class striker that's going to come back in January and play a good chunk of games. Whereas that
like a new signing.
I guess they'll have games behind the scenes, D. I reckon they'll have games. Because he can't even have like practice matches.
Well, Cantona, when he got banned about that flying kick to the Crystal Palace fan, I think Man United had I think he had a ban, and in that ban it included like no friendly. So I think he got in trouble for having a friendly behind the scenes, like behind closed doors at the training ground. So I don't think
he'll just keep fit. He'll just keep fit himself, won't he? I know it's different to match fitness, but he will keep fit himself. I wanted to bring this. I wanted to bring this in from Chaitanya because this is interesting for me. Says if Brentford are willing to sell him for 30 or 40 million, then I'll take Ivan Toney. His quality adds a dimension. 8 months is not bad. Treat it like an ACL. Do you think that clubs will look at it that way, Kaz?
I would personally go in from this summer. I'll be like, you know what? If you can get a cut price, 30, 40 million for him to come in January, I'm taking it. Brentford,
I actually agree with you.
It's 30, 40 million. Go use that money to get yourself another striker on top of whatever budget you got going on. I'm taking him.
I don't think he's allowed to move, though. I don't think he's allowed to go, is he? I feel like they've banned everything on him.
In January 16th, I think it is, you can come over. You just have an agreement because it's
Well,
it's
why
what he
should they
would
sell
do.
him?
He's got a year left on his contract. No, 2 more years left on his contract. By the time then, he's gonna have a year left in the summer, anyways. And it's like, what are you gonna get for him? He's gonna be in his prime, but he's at a good age. He's my age. He's 27. By the time they'll be 28, and I think he's got the IQ, and especially the way he's built. I think he can last in the game for a bit
He's
like
like
Harry
an all-round striker,
Kane.
isn't
Harry Kane. I think Harry Kane can last in the Premier League at his high level for the next 4, maybe 5 years, in my opinion. I think Toney would be the same. Well, it will give you a good 6 years, 5-6 years. I think it's a good contract you can give him. He won't be on high wages either, and you can run that contract down. I think he'd be a great striker addition to most teams. Most teams.
Sava, would you take him at Spurs if Kane goes?
Yeah, I mean, look, if Kane goes, absolutely.
Even if he don't go,
no point. If Kane don't go, there's no point. We've seen that whoever comes in is literally just going to sit on a bench behind Harry Kane. So
yeah,
unless you're going to 2 up top, but look, I'd take him definitely if Kane goes. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that he's not allowed any type of transfer activity at the moment, so I don't think they can get anything for him in the summer. And then in the January, if they decide to then sell, I don't know, will his value have gone down completely compared to what it would be now if he didn't have the ban? Look, there's loads of questions, right? There's loads and loads of questions surrounding this. All I know is Brentford have lost their goal scorer, and of all players,
20 plus.
Yeah, you can lose a midfielder, you can lose a fullback, you can lose a winger, but if you're taking out. I don't know how many goals Brentford have scored this year in the league, but I'm guessing he's got 50%, 40% of them, right? So,
yeah, easily, yeah.
So he scored this season alone. He has scored 21 goals, and that's 20 in the Premier League, and he's got 5 assists.
Yeah, that's the thing I was going to talk about.
3,000 minutes. He doesn't get injured.
Assists, because it's not just that 5 assists might not sound like a lot, but he's good with the link-up play as well. He might not directly get the assist, but they're going to literally miss probably 25 goals or 30 goals a season type of striker. There's going to be a drop of 100%. But the question is, 30 to 40 million pounds. I still reckon Brentford don't do it.
If I'm Brentford, I'm looking at a top 13 finish next season, top 14 maybe. Just don't drop below that margin, because I think it's going to be hard to replace a striker. You don't know who's going to come in and be a bad boy. You know what I mean? Go get Danny Ings maybe. I don't know, someone.
But they won't sell him though. I don't think they'll sell him for 30 to 40 million.
No, because I think Brentford will look at a position like, we need to see where we are in January. Are we going to need him?
Do you know who I think will be perfect to go there in the summer if they want a new striker? Hear me out on this one. I think Tammy Abraham.
I like Tammy.
I think Tammy Abraham would suit them perfectly.
I really like Tammy. I think he's criminally underrated.
I hear where you're coming from.
He's not going to go nowhere. He's about to get Champions League football when he beat.
I don't think he'll go Brentford, but
I don't know whether it'll be his decision. I don't know if it'll be his decision though, Kaz, because if you look at Abraham,
do you know how much they want? They want like 60, 70 million for Abraham.
No.
Yeah, no joke. Mourinho ain't going to.
I thought it was 40. I thought they said 40. Bloody hell.
No.
Because he's not scored a lot this year. Last year, he got a load of goals. This year, he hasn't. I listen, I'm just looking at in the mould in which he plays, because Brentford, as far as I'm aware, in the rest of the squad, someone will tell me if I'm wrong, I feel they've got a lot of quick, wide type forward players on the bench and stuff. But I don't know who's there.
Tammy Abraham would never
go. I think they might keep it. I think they might just keep it with Visser and Mbeumo. I don't know if they will go and get another and wait for Toney, because I don't think they'll sell him now. Would you sell him? I wouldn't sell him.
They can have Richarlison if they really, if they like for free.
No one wants him.
For free.
For free. No, but Sabo, you made a very good point about even we don't know the full 11. And there's a reason for that, because their recruitment is kind of similar to Brighton's. They don't go for the big names. They just have it's data analytical, and so they'll probably find another replacement.
I know who they can go for. I'm going for Skamaka personally from West Ham. He looks out of favour. Go on, there you go. That's a cut price still right there.
He's been injured though. I think that's why he's not played, because he's been injured.
I'd buy him.
Do you know what? I've got a shout because I think teams like Brentford tend to dip into the Championship quite a lot for players out of there. I think the guy up top for Coventry.
Yeah,
is it Guy Chris?
Guy Chris or something.
As well.
If Coventry don't come up, because bear in mind they're one game away from the Premier League, aren't they?
The guy everyone keeps saying that.
How can you have Coventry? No, wait, is it Coventry and who is it?
Luton.
Luton.
I can't believe it. Coventry and Luton. I'm not being funny. I've just moved out of Coventry. Their stadium is shit, by the way, like hot crap. And you got Luton, whose stadiums are part of houses.
10,000 seat stadium.
Mate, it's like the Premier League. I'm getting a season ticket at Luton. Not even joking. I'm playing for them.
Imagine how you're gonna feel. You're feeling
Kenilworth
like
Road. Can you imagine?
Feel when Man United get smoked by
Kenilworth Road in the Premier League.
Yeah,
wow.
Do you know what? When I was growing up, Coventry and Luton were very good teams in the English First Division.
There you go.
There you go. Not Premiership.
When was that? When was that? Exactly. When was that?
Calm down, D. I live down the road from you, so I will find you, mate. Come on.
Honestly, it's mad.
I'm in Bromley, D, so I know how to get to your end.
Oh my word, Bromley.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're all local.
Everyone was about the Glades and everything.
You'll know it. You're like doors to door, you lot. Listen, I wanna move quick. I want to move quick to a couple of things before we do come to a close. Wilfred Zaha, D. I'm hearing yesterday on TalkSport that he might stay at Palace. 200k a week. You want to offer him? Is that a lot for a 30-year-old?
No, it isn't, because I've been having this debate literally the whole week. It's not as it seems. So 200k a week. So he earns 130k a week right now, and there's a 70k just outstanding that we just have to pay him. How do we fund that 70k? There's Luka Milivojevic that's literally on the bench, out of contract, that earns 75k a week. Solved. That's it. It's that simple. Like, we're not going to go out of our pockets. We're not gonna be in an awful financial position. We still save £5,000 a week. The alternative, you're gonna spend £25 million on the likes of Elanga, or who else we've been linked with? Ismaili Sarr.
Oh, you want Elanga? Aye, mate. Oh, please.
Please. Plus wait, exactly. That's why I don't want him. Plus wages, in comparison to someone that we do know. And yes, he's 30 years old. I get that.
Reece Nelson on a free transfer.
Would you not just stick Zaha up front? I think his best game come from up front now.
Would you take Lucas Moura? Would you take Lucas Moura? He's on a free.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good. You're taking the
hey,
Lucas Moura.
I'm not. Listen, that's the Champions League hero right there.
Well, you keep that Champions League hero. You're fighting for Europa Conference League. You might need him next year in Europe if he's Champions League hero. Don't. Honestly, if there's any Spurs fans watching, they'll hate me. I'm just kind of hoping. I'm gutted that Toney's ban starts now. I was kind of hoping that we wouldn't beat Brentford and wouldn't get top 7. I do not want Conference League, man.
Don't worry, mate.
Let's just say, like, League One playoffs yesterday held more weight than the Conference League semi-finals. So that says all about that competition. And plus, you've been in the Conference League before. No, you haven't. You have?
Yeah, we have.
How on earth have you not won the Conference League?
We lost to Moura.
Moura Higgins. Lost to Moura Higgins from Love Island.
Yeah. Anyway, this isn't about Spurs. Honestly. This is about Zaha. It's not about Spurs.
Anyways, going back to Zaha, I do think he stays. I do think he stays at Palace because of that £200,000 a week, but it's not fully confirmed yet. I'll be surprised at this point if he was to leave. Because
do you think he's given up on a move now, then, D? Do you think he's given up now? Has he just given up on a move?
No, he just wants to play European football, and he wants to wait on Palace next season to see what happens. We got Elise, we got Eze, we got Zaha. Add another striker to it.
Yeah, Elise is linked to PSG, isn't he?
Yeah, as a Messi replacement, which is wild.
I rate him, but I don't know if he'll replace Messi.
I wanted Elise in the summer, not Anthony.
You like Elise, right?
I like Eze and Elise.
Potts, what you just said there alone just shows how much you underrate Elise.
What, you think he's compared to
Messi? That he can't lace Messi's boots?
No. Not Messi, but Elise is the next upcoming star.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, no, I rate him. I'm just saying that it's a bit of a strange replacement from when you're selling Messi to get Elise. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so who do you go and get?
Well, I'm saying you could do a lot. Listen, I like Elise, right? I think Elise is quality.
You can go get Saka, and he ain't signing the contract
yet. Unbelievable. Yeah, he's got
Elise's
unbelievable
only got how many more?
Talent.
One less assist than Saka this season in the Premier League, whilst playing for Crystal Palace side that's been struggling to score goals.
I'm playing one game a week, just the same structure pretty much.
So you think PSG will not miss Messi if they go get Elise? You think it will be like for like?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it won't be that. I'm not slating Elise.
No, if it's a new fresh start, if you look at Elise's talents, I think you can start with Elise at PSG, and you have to start again. It's not just Elise; they have to have a whole rebrand. But Elise is not also like a bum that that's not class. He's a very good footballer.
How much are you going to cost? How much are you going to cost, D, to get out of Palace?
30 million. Yes. I already know it.
How much?
30.
Because
30?
apparently there's a release clause in his contract,
No,
which I
there
found
isn't,
last
Kaz.
year.
No,
Yeah,
there isn't.
wait.
Increase your
Last
price,
year-
and I'll stop you.
Last year, Reading, I remember there was a 30 odd million
He
release
got
clause
removed,
in his
bro.
contract.
He got removed.
I don't remember. I don't remember him signing a new contract.
No, he has. It's got removed, bro. I'm telling you, it's got removed.
I bet, bro. Trust me. If you come in for 30 million release, say they're accepting it, or 35.
80 million pounds. Or
There's
70
no one
million
that's
pound right now.
No,
I'm
70
not even
million.
laughing. You lot are laughing,
70
but that's how much
million.
Elise is worth to us.
You're
70 million
smoking
pounds.
butch, mate.
I
£70
would
million.
love
Are you crazy?
Spurs to go and raid Palace for Elise and Eze.
No,
I'd love that.
I'm telling you right now, that 30 million pound thing that you're talking about, that got removed, Kaz. That got removed. If you could go check it out, it got removed back in October. He signed a new deal, it got removed. But right now for Palace, Elise is worth 70
He's
million
not worth
pound at
more than
least.
anything above
How much?
million right
70
now.
million.
70 million.
No, he's not.
Oh, come on, man.
You know what
No,
he's-
but
he's-
you
he's-
neutrals
you
are
know
going to
what
laugh
is, yeah,
about
you know
that.
what
You're
is?
going to laugh
He's
about it.
doing-
You are going to laugh about it. But that's how much Elise is worth to us. Just like Declan Rice to West Ham. Why do you think Declan Rice is worth
No,
to us?
but Declan Rice is way more influential than Elise is to Palace.
Declan Rice is the captain of the club and one of the first names on the England team sheet. I like Elise, but 70 million. Come on,
you know
man.
what he's said, yeah?
Okay, how much do you
If
think
you
Elise
look
is
in-
worth to Palace then?
if
We have to remember.
You've been too busy looking at your seagulls shitting on you, yeah, and seeing,
Here we go. Bro, you got the sharks that's been eating you up left, right, centre.
Don't
Don't worry about seagulls.
70 million. Do you get what I mean? He's not. No one's gonna pay 70 million for him. You're gonna. If I'm not right, realistically, it don't matter about the assist. The assist came in like 2 in bulks. Let's be honest, not through the spread of a season.
Yeah, but it doesn't. That's fine.
It does matter.
You might say
It
no one
does-
pays
it
70
does
million
matter.
pound for him.
It's not 70 million.
You might say no one pays that much for Elise, but that's fine. We're not trying to sell Elise.
How much is
pay
Saka
that much.
worth then? If Elise is worth 70, what is Saka
Double.
worth? Oh my god.
Over 100 mil.
100, more like 140 million.
Yeah.
If Bellingham is worth 140 million,
well, he is. Look how inflated the market is. Oh, how much is Elise?
Listen, Elise looks quality, right? But he hasn't really done anything yet, as he's had a
Okay,
one
but you
good
know, you should
season.
say this about Zaha as well. We've seen this. We have seen this in the past.
I like
with
Zaha.
Palace.
I like all three of them. I like Eze.
Yeah, I like them, but
Yeah, but remember,
70
Arsenal
million,
wanted
come
Zaha.
on, dude.
Arsenal wanted Zaha, and how much did Palace put? 70 to 80 million pounds. No one wants.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, because nowadays in the market, it's what he's worth to the club, right? It's now, you know, like when City paid 100 million for Grealish, it's now no longer what a player's worth, it's what's the breaking point. But I just think if any club paid 70 million for Elise, and I really like Elise, by the way, I just think that is, football's dead.
I'm not being funny.
Gone. If we're at that stage.
I'm watching it right now, yeah. One assist back in September and another one back in October. And then he didn't get another assist until end of the year. Then he had to wait to get an assist against Brentford in Feb. Then he had to wait another massive long period until April to get 3 assists against the dead Leeds. And it's only obviously of late he's got an assist against obviously West Ham and Bournemouth.
Okay,
I said, because you want to play the stat, I hate stats and logistics and all that crap. It's just ruining football. I want it to be simple. Did you keep a flipping clean sheet? How many goals have you scored today, mate?
I agree.
Okay, hold on. Those are
how
stats.
was your overall performance? Can I go and have a watch?
Those are stats. How many goals did he score today?
Fernandes has amazing stats, but guess what? He's not as elite as people think he is, mate.
Yeah, okay, but Elise is worth that much. So, okay,
But
how much
he's
is Elise
not.
worth? How much
He's
would
a,
it be for
he's a
Elise?
£50 million player right now. He plays for Palace and you struggled this year.
Let me ask you a question.
That's what I'm saying.
Let me ask you boys a
mentality.
question.
He plays for Palace. You can go grab him.
No,
I'm not
funny. Listen, when I say this, your ballers in Eze, Elise, Zaha, you struggled to score a goal in about 3 months. This is
Vieira.
No, it's not just that, mate. You're talking about a 70 million quid player. What specialty has he done to get you over the line when your manager's done nothing?
No, okay. So why has Elise all of a sudden got assists?
Oh, mate.
Why is it? Why is it?
I have a theory. I have a theory. I have a theory. I feel it's a bit harsh. This whole talk about Patrick Vieira versus Roy Hodgson. If memory serves me rightly, and I should know this, I was talking to a Palace fan yesterday about this. The last 10 to 11 games of Vieira's tenure were all at the top 6, and some of them twice, right?
Yeah.
And then Hodgson, I'm not saying he's not done a good job. He's done a very good job, but Hodgson's come in and now getting all the games against the teams that you should be taking points off. So I'm not knocking it, but listen, I look at this, right? How much do you guys think Bukayo Saka is worth? And this is relevant for the
150 million. We were saying,
right.
yeah.
Wait,
that's what I was saying.
Can I just reply to your point though about Patrick Vieira?
Yeah,
Can I just quickly reply to your point, because this is what all neutrals think, and they miss the biggest point about it. 100%. Even Steve Parish, our chairman, came out on the Overlap. There's you could go watch it after this, and he had a very good interview talking about running a football club, sacking Vieira, and he even said that Vieira is probably going to be a very great manager. But many people are forgetting this about Patrick Vieira's time at Palace. Look at Eze, how he is now compared to how he was under Vieira. Under Vieira, he wasn't even playing him, and right now he's getting goals left, right, centre. What?
You heard of manager bounce? Have you never heard of
no. It's about It's about confidence. It's about confidence. Not only him, Harry Mitchell.
There's the teams you were playing against, like when you're playing Man U, Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal, you can't be playing Zaha, Elise, and Eze all in the same team, because you're not getting any of the ball and you're being swarmed all over. When you're now playing all these teams you're playing now that are more on your level or below your level, yeah, you can start putting...
No, you can, Sava. You can, because we've done that.
I don't think you can.
Man City away. But Sava, we beat Man City away from home.
That's a one-off game, mate. That's a one-off, though, isn't it?
We have approached games like that, and we picked up points. We picked up points against top 6 sides. My point is, people love talking this about Vieira, but Vieira had issues behind the scenes that many people don't know about.
I'm sure.
Fixtures, it's easier to look at, what Palace are doing right now and saying, Vieira would have done that. And I'll be honest, I was a massive Vieira fan. Potts knows this as well, and I praised him for a long time. But looking at it now and looking at all the stuff that's come out afterwards, it makes sense why he got sacked. And also, more credit needs to go to Roy Hodgson, because it's kind of frustrating. Even other Palace fans will say this as well, of seeing the same thing over and over again by neutrals that always talk about fixture list compared to Vieira's fixture list compared to Hodgson's fixture list. Yes, maybe in hindsight, maybe
you've got to look at it. You've got to look at it.
But then again, if Eze continued playing like as he was, but if Eze continued playing like as he was under Patrick Vieira, we would have not got these points that we're getting right now. Not only Eze, Tyreek Mitchell, our left back. Loads of players lost confidence under Vieira, which Roy Hodgson has brought back, and even the players are saying it themselves. Eze's come out.
But D, let's look at some facts. Let's look at some facts. The thing is, when you're saying it's easy for other fans to look at fixture schedules, that's because they don't lie. It's black and white, right? If I'm looking at, hang on. He came in, right. His first game was what? Leicester, or was it the Arsenal game?
Leicester.
Arsenal.
Leicester. Okay, so let's look at the games, the 10 games before that, right? Was Arsenal, Brighton away, Man City, Aston Villa away, Liverpool, Brentford away, Brighton again, Man United, Newcastle, Man United, Chelsea, Tottenham. Like, what points did anyone think Palace were getting from any of those games?
Sava, I'm not even just talking about points. The level of difference and the level of confidence. It's about confidence as well. Football is not as straightforward as, you got easier games, you're going to win games. If that was the case, look at Leicester's squad. It
really helps.
I can't lie. Yeah, he's not worth 70 million. He's not worth 70. Look, in the discussion, I'm gonna lie. When McAllister's worth about 75 million right now in the market, and he's won a World Cup. If you want to talk about stats and all that kind of stuff,
worth 75 million pound. Maybe it's
probably not. You know what? For me, probably not. It's inflated a little bit. I would say probably currently for the seasons he's had, and also for what he's done in the World Cup and in trophies, and he's also got to a semi-final for Brighton. Obviously, got knocked out by us and whatnot. I think for Brighton's standards, they've overachieved this season massively. You know what I mean? That they've given it to the big teams. I think, mate, you can command that fee, and especially at his age as well. He's at a good age. Elise, you know what? For me, I like the assist, but for my right winger nowadays, how much goals are you going to guarantee me next season?
Okay, so how much do you think you should go for?
Listen. There's two questions, right? There's two questions. One of them is how much is the player worth? That's number one. And question two is how much are they going for, right? Because there's let's take Declan Rice. He's probably worth, fair. He's probably worth 70, 75 million if we're looking at what everyone else is talking about in terms of his quality. He's going to go for more than that probably, because that's what West Ham are asking for. Now, it's been ruined by, and this isn't a dig at you, Kaz, 100 million for Anthony.
It's not 100. He wasn't
Pogba,
100. He wasn't 100 million.
Grealish, 100 million or whatever it is. 100 million for
85.
Grealish, 75 million for Pepe, 90 million for
Even
Havertz.
Sancho.
All of this, Sancho.
70
All
million,
these
Sancho.
players have now gone, well, we
I'm
thought
not
they
being
were 60,
funny.
but I've
You've
just
got
So
seen
blame
West Ham
yourself,
go
Kaz.
100.
Blame
No,
yourself, Kaz, because your team is
wait.
doing this.
No, but Sancho was doing double
Blame
figures.
yourself,
I'm not being
Kaz.
funny. Double figures. My-
The transfer fees in this country are all down to
literally,
Kaz.
You're complaining about our no. You're
No. But
talking
alright,
about
cool.
our
You want to
transfer
do this,
fees.
yeah? But I'm just saying, yeah, my cupboard's at full. You don't pay 80 million for Maguire. That's stupid. And I know it's inflated, but English tax will always be it. But I'm not being funny. Sancho came for 72 million. He was getting double figures in assists and goals in the Bundesliga, and he was in the Champions League. He was seasoned that way, and the same age,
English
actually
tax as well.
less. It was younger actually than Elise was when he came to Man United. And you're telling me you want to do stats? Cool. A 10 assists and 2 goals, and then 10 assists ain't what paints the picture. Talent is worth 70 million. And he's not even English, by the way. So no tax days, French.
No, well, you can't play for England.
Homegrown player.
French under 21. You can still play for England. Okay, let me say this. Posh, you made a very good point. So realistically, based on how you lot view the game, I think he's worth £50 million in general. If you want to consider everything, I think right now age potential 50 million £50 million. But to Palace, that still doesn't change it. He's still worth more than £50 million to Palace because of the potential of the start.
What about 25 million and Oliver Skip?
That's the joke of the day. That's the joke of the
No,
day.
but it's listen, it is mad.
Oliver Skip. I'll be honest.
It's mad, right?
He's not a bad player, but we don't need 25 million.
All transfer fees now. Like every time a club are signing a player, clubs are just asking, and they've got their rights to, but club are just asking for these like extortionate prices for their footballers.
That's the game, though.
No, I get it. But at what point does that stop? Like, how can, you know, we're seeing the most average of footballers we're going 50 million plus. You know, 50 million used to buy you a superstar. Now 50 million is buying players who have played in the Premier League for like 1 year. It's mental.
Yeah,
but absolutely crazy.
Don't try to blame my club. Don't try to blame my club either. It's PSG and also what's it called? PSG and Barcelona. Barcelona 140 million for Coutinho, and then Neymar, I suppose, whatever. But he went for like 150, whatever the hell million, and then Mbappe to PSG, mate.
But Mbappe, you can't. Mbappe, that's not.
Even Mourinho said that's what sparked the market for what it was.
Yeah, but Man United over here, Manchester United have ruined it, and maybe Chelsea as well. They're getting involved as well lately because they're spending
100 million for Mudryk and all that kind of stuff. Jack Grealish,
so exactly. So why would we sell Elise?
£100 million player. I can't lie. Right now, he is. I can't lie. If he wins a treble this season, that's £100 million player. But Man United, but the thing is, Man United were the crowns of this. We've been doing it.
Yeah. So and now you have to pay the price for it.
We earned our money, mate. We get our stuff through revenues now. We're allowed to spend our money any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and now other teams have to pay the price for it because if certain players are going for £100 million.
This is Kaz's fault.
Yeah, it's Kaz's fault.
So you're telling me, Elise, in your head, Elise is worth more than Matoma?
No.
Yeah, Matoma's 4 years older than him, but yeah.
Yeah, he is.
But look, can't we look at this, right? Have a look at how crazy this market is. Casado, who's a very good player, by the way, but played for Brighton. He's been in the first team for like a year.
Who?
Casado, Moises Casado, right?
2 seasons now, but probably, yeah.
Oh, all right, but a year and a half, 2 years, whatever. And we're talking that they bought him for like 4 million or whatever, and then they're sticking him at
70 million.
Yeah, they rejected a 70 million bid in the January transfer window. Give the guy a new contract so that anyone who comes in now, they're going to go, well, hang on, we rejected 70 when he had 2 years left. He's now got a new 5-year deal, whatever it is. We want 85, 90. It's absolutely madness if clubs are doing this rather than going out and scouting the next one.
It's not.
Of course it is.
No, but Caicedo is one of the reasons why Brighton are where they are. So why should Brighton sell for cheaper?
I'm not saying they should. I'm not saying they should, but I'm saying if you look at what top clubs should be doing is like what the likes of RB Leipzig do. Yeah, what the clubs like Leverkusen do. go and scout them before they're 70
That's
or
what
80
we done.
million.
But we
That's
don't
what
need to
we've
do
done.
that. A big club
got
like
for
Man
£8
United,
million.
Man City shouldn't need to do that stuff. To be honest, it's great.
Are you putting yourself as big a club as Man City?
We're bigger than Man City, and we are bigger than Man City.
I'm just jesting.
Well,
I'm
it
just
depends on
jesting.
it depends on the time frame we're talking about, though.
I'm
Depends on the
talking
time
I'm
frame.
jesting. I'm jesting.
When you're Chelsea, when I don't know, maybe Arsenal down, maybe Man United or Liverpool, you don't need to go scout that gem. If you're lucky enough, you find a gem. Of course, it's normal recruitment. I don't need to go do that. There's so much
Okay, then you
revenue
pay the
in the
price
world
for it.
right now. I'm going to pay
You
the
don't wanna
price.
scout?
This is the way it is.
cool.
This is the way the football
Yeah.
works. Maybe if you're
Even
Tottenham,
Gahey.
no, yeah,
Gahey's
how
worth
about
like
we?
£80 million.
Hey, don't bring my Tottenham into it. Why are we doing that? What's
Oh,
going
You
my
know
on?
we want
How much? How much?
Gearhead. How much is Gearhead? We want him apparently. How much is he going to be?
Probably like 70 to 80.
No, he's not. He's not
70 to 80 million.
a defender, mate.
All right. He's one of the. He's one.
Why is he being quoted for 45 million then?
Huh?
Why is he being quoted for 45 million then?
Who's quoting for £45 million?
Mark Gay.
80
who's saying £45 million
million.
for
I can
Gahey?
name you bam defenders
You
that are
realize
worth.
Chelsea have a sell-on clause?
Wait. Gavardio, yeah, is worth currently where he was at 80 million. Bastoni is worth 70 million. We're talking about young, sick defenders. There's
We're talking
many.
we're talking about England captain, future England captain. If Harry
I
Maguire,
can't. This is why I don't talk to lower league teams more time.
I'd say.
Now you're such a high. What you want one Carabao
never
Cup,
said-
and now Man United are back. Man United are back.
Mate,
Yeah?
more Carabao Cups than you've ever won because you never won one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, all right, cool.
Look, tell me last time you want to do this. You want to do this all.
But you want to take our players. You want to take our players.
I don't want your players. I don't want your players. I wanted at least say I don't want them anymore. I've got someone.
Mark Gearhead. I can look at 30 to 35 million tops. I'm not going higher than that.
Yeah, honestly, that is honestly. If there's more Palace fans here, that is.
How much did you pay for him? How much did you pay for him?
Like 8 million in it.
Or 20 million. I think he's going to be 45 to 50 purely because lack of centre backs around and English tax. I think he'll be 45 to 50. If we start talking about a number beginning with, if we start talking about a number that begins with 6 or 7, I mean,
Ben White went for 50, and you think he's 80? Come on.
Currently right now, yeah. If you just sold Toney right his ban, Brentford will be quoting 60, 70 million for that 20 goals a season. 70 million probably they'll ask for. And in this market for what the demand is for strikers, you'd be like, you know what? Probably.
Yeah, but the contract matters as well. The contract matters as well. How long has Toney got compared to Gahey? It's the context, the position.
Yeah,
how
true.
much do you?
Have you got one of them in WhatsApp? You got one of them in the chat because apparently, if you don't have a Manc accent, you're a fake fan and all that stuff. I go to more games than you probably go to your. There's Glenn Hoddle, so you're a Tottenham fan. I go to more United games probably than you go to Tottenham games, mate.
Fake Manc. Kaz, you're a fake Manc, mate.
I know, man. I only spend 200 quid a time when I have to go up Man United every single time. You know what I mean? Like with all my 18 home games that I've been this season. Flipping, man.
Can I ask though, D? I'd just be really interested to know if Gahey, is worth 70 to 80, as you're saying. What price would you put on Nathan Ake and John Stones?
Well, it depends on how much. As you said, it depends on how much they're valued for City. I think Ake is worth probably around the same.
But why? Ake's a much better defender than Gahey.
Yeah, because if you look at Man City, they could sell him and get another replacement with like.
Yeah, no, but that's not what I'm asking.
More talent around the squad. We haven't got the talents that Man City have. So for us, he's worth a lot of money. Because if you lose,
can we swap you Christian Romero for Gahey?
No way. Gahey's better than Romero.
No, he's not.
Someone just wants his players gone.
Hence why I want to do the swap.
Savage just every season this he's trying to give us Skip. He's trying to give us
Lucas Moura, Richarlison,
Lucas Moura, Romero now.
Yeah, he's trying to swap
I've got a list of about 30 players here, guys, that you can all have.
You know what? You ain't got one player in your squad that's worth over 60 million.
Who?
Yes, we have.
Crystal Palace.
I was going to say,
yes,
you never met Harry Kane, son.
All right, Kaz, you're going to see this. Kaz, you're going
to see this. You need to realize where you are. You need to realize where you are in the world. You need to come. Your level. You think you're here, but you're not. Like me.
No, it's nothing about that.
We're here. We're not there.
It's nothing about that. It's nothing about that. That's the entitlement.
You're not even in the top 10 of the table, mate. You're down here, bro. Realize your level. Who do you think you are, bruv?
That's
Who do you
that's
think you are?
entitlement that you lot think that you have. You
Even.
can't just get our players left, right, centre. We sold you Wan-Bissaka
I
for
don't
50
want
million
your
pounds.
players, G. I'm just saying they're not worth that because the talent on show.
Okay, so why do you buy Wan-Bissaka for 50 million pounds then?
You need to be
We
humble.
sold him for 50. We said 50
Seriously,
million pounds.
was
We
bad.
said 50 million pounds. We said 50 million pounds, and we sold Wan-Bissaka for 50 million pounds. So if you're not going to pay
and we
what we
overpaid
value
that,
him,
and we overpaid. And we overpaid.
Kaz, you see what happens? Crystal Palace have won 5 of their last 8 games. We're getting this. Now imagine they're in Europe. All their players are going to be worth 150 million.
You know what the
No,
thing is,
not
yeah? They've got a
even.
lot. They've got so much. They got great talent. But guess what? That talent hasn't been shown madly on show at the moment, at this point, to make me think as a neutral fan watching games, oh, he's worth 70, 60, 80 million. You want to talk about stats? No stats, no stats back that up. No stats. You know what? You want to do stats? Cool. No stats has backed up why any of them players are worth more than 70 million as well. Cool. Now let's do the eye test. I look at him like, yeah, Elise is probably your biggest talent in that squad. And I think Tyreek Mitchell is as well. I think he's very underrated. Wan-Bissaka was never worth 50 million. That was a 30 million pound player at the time, in my opinion. If we're being
why
realistic.
did we sell him for 50?
Because Man United tax. That's why. And they know we needed a right back.
And that's
Anyways,
okay. And
no,
that's
no,
and I'm telling you right now.
No. You're not saying what your club values. You're saying what you think.
Is it supposed to be sunny at the weekend?
I don't know,
I
mate.
can show you reports, bro. I can show you reports. Like we're
Yeah,
not.
I don't want to see
It's
reports,
absolutely
man.
crazy. It's absolutely
Dan,
crazy.
you know,
Like, you don't think
next
that
time I
Kane will go
do,
for 40 million
next
pounds.
time I do a 24-hour charity stream, right? I'm just gonna get these two on and
Yeah.
do nothing for 24 hours and just let them go at it, man. Like,
but
Chuck Lawless in there as well, and it would just be.
From. If he once again asks me the context, so if I think as a neutral and not as how Palace think or as a Palace fan, then cool, Gay, of course, 80 million pounds sounds crazy because he's only been in Premier League 1 season. It sounds crazy, but you don't understand how much is worth. We don't need to sell him. We don't need to sell him. We don't.
Can I also, D? All right, let me ask you a question. If we take this back to Elise, look, and by the way, please bear in mind, I've already said I wouldn't mind Spurs going to get Elise. I think it's the type of player that we don't have in our squad, right? Players like that. But if we're talking about what a player is worth to a club, for example, if we use Jack Grealish as the example here, right? What Jack Grealish was worth to Villa, he was Mr. Aston Villa. Everything went through Jack Grealish. It didn't matter where they were on the pitch. Everyone looked up and went, get the ball to Jack, right? Yeah. So for me, you take Jack Grealish out and you've got a big problem. When we're talking about that example with Elise and what he's worth to the club, I think he's a really good player, but isn't he really easily replaceable for what he's actually delivered?
I wouldn't say easily because of the potential that he has. I think he's got massive potential, and I think he's just only getting started. By the way, Elise down the right hand side, we're still not seeing the best out of him. That's the thing. We because of our right back situation, we got Joe Ward and Nathaniel Klein, and there's no overlapping fullbacks that can drop him. Exactly.
I guarantee what they were 15, 20 million for you as well, yeah?
Do you want Emerson Royal? You can have Emerson Royal.
He's been performing well recently, I'll be honest. He kept Zaha in his pocket. But all right, cool. Let's move the figure. Let's move to even like 60 million. Let's say Elise 60 million pound. Like, how much do you lot think Elise should be going? Like 40 million pound? I
don't want to say it no more because you're gonna keep coming back. I'll spend 25 minutes and talking about Palace.
Chelsea said. By the way, Chelsea have a selling clause. Can I ask
you a question? If you think Gahey's worth 70 to 80, right? How much is Tomori from AC Milan worth? If Gahey's worth 70 to 80, what's Tomori at AC Milan worth? The same.
Yeah. Tomori, by the way, Tomori's been exposed a few times. He's a brilliant footballer.
Yeah, in what respect though? Where has he been exposed? In the Carabao Cup?
No, not in the Carabao Cup.
Champions League. Yeah, Champions League semi-final.
Champions League semi-finals.
Champions League.
Won a league last year.
Crazy.
What was that?
But Elise for 40 million isn't crazy, but bloody 70 or 80 for like Gahey, Elise, and all this. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money.
Let's see. All right, let's see what happens. Because Gahey's going to be sold this summer most likely.
Go on.
We're probably going to sell Gahey this summer, yeah? Let's see how much he goes for. I can guarantee
it'll be similar to Ben White.
Yeah, it will be.
He went
100%.
60, even 60 is crazy. Even 60.
Yeah, but for me,
60 at least.
At least say I'm paying 55 million tops for that player because I think he's a sick player. But nothing more
Can
than
I
that.
just
At
address
least £60
one
million
comment
at
in
least.
your
Mark
chat?
my words, £60
Dan.
million at least.
Go on, Saba. Who is it?
I want to
Who is
address
it?
one comment in your chat. Kevin Franks, who has said
Right.
Villa clearly haven't struggled since Grealish left.
I mean-
Sorry. What? Isn't this the Aston Villa that nearly got relegated last year and were 17th this year until Unai Emery come in and picked them up? About they haven't missed Jack Grealish.
Recency bias.
Exactly. Sorry, I can't. Some comments you look at and go, "Hang on, nah, sorry, that's just not right." Sorry.
I wonder if he's being sarcastic. If I'm honest, he must be. Crikey. Listen, I wanted to end on this. Sava, I'll come to you. Arne Slot Feyenoord is the next guy. Is he going to turn down Spurs as well, as well as Nagelsmann and Xabi Alonso and all these other managers?
You not see what Matt Law said?
Go on, Kaz.
Matt Law said Luis Enrique is actually interested in taking a Tottenham job now.
Really?
Yeah, he said he's back in. So I've seen, and listen, it's all I've heard all this kind of stuff, right? That it's between Slot, Enrique, and Ruben Amorim of Sporting Lisbon, not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. For me, I think Slot would be perfect for a fit with Daniel Levy, because if you look at what Slot has done in the last few years and what he operates with, all his players are young. They are all young, no big buys, not a lot of money spent. Like the average age of his team, I believe, that's just won the Eredivisie has been 23 and a half. Like he's got 3 of his back 4 are under 22. His main striker's 22 as well. Like for me, I think that works well in terms of what Spurs need. I think we need a manager that can bring through some younger players. Daniel Levy would absolutely love it because he hates having to try and go and sign the big players. Big players aren't going to come to us anyway. So for me, I'm happy with that. But what we've got to do, if we bring in a manager like that, is it doesn't change like that. You need a couple of years. This is going to get worse before it gets better. And I don't know if a lot of Spurs fans are prepared for that. We're not going to be back in Champions League for years, put it that way.
What's your kind of realistic expectations for next season, and what do you need to do in the summer to achieve that, Saba?
I think next season is consolidation. Next season is about getting a manager in, a director of football in that can actually build something. You know, everyone talks about rebuild. There's nothing to rebuild from. We've not won anything. We've not been good for ages. It's about build. Get a manager in, get a director of football in that are on the same page. And all I want to see is that they create a team next year that you can start to say, all right, I see what we're doing. Yeah, we're going to lose a lot of games. We're going to win a lot of games. I'm not expecting us to win anything. I'm not expecting Champions League qualification, but just that we can see that we're going in the right direction as a football club and that we're actually building. Because everyone's about the right now. Everyone assumes you're going to bring in an Arne Slot or a Luis Enrique and we go, oh, right, brilliant. All of a sudden now Newcastle aren't up there, Chelsea aren't up there, Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, United. It's not going to happen. So if I'm being a really honest and realistic Spurs fan, it's just about consolidating and building a team, man. We just got to get over this.
And starting again. Is it worth selling Kane and starting again?
But when you say start again, from what? Like there's nothing to start from. We're literally we need to build from nothing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, is it just worth just cashing in and then using that money plus whatever you got left over and just from top to bottom just go position by position, depth by depth, start.
Possibly. Look, that might be a decision that's taken out of our hands, right? Look, Harry Kane's got 1 year left. And the decision they've got to make is if he turns around and says, I do not want to sign a new contract, which I think, and this is as a Spurs fan again, I think the man's an idiot if he signs a new contract. I do. I think it will completely show complete lack of ambition. And I think he
will, though, Saba?
I think he'll leave. I think if he's got anything about him, he'll hand in a transfer request and then leave. He's got the decision to make. Hang on. He's got the decision to make. He's got, do I keep Harry Kane for 1 more year knowing I'm going to get 30 goals in all competitions? Or do I sell him and get 85, 90 million for a guy with 1 year left on his contract? Right, that's the harsh reality of the decision we will have to make this year. For me, if he's only going to be around for one more year, start again without him now, because this, like, what are you holding on to him for? You're building a future with a man that has told you he's not going to be there. So, look, there's a lot going on at Spurs at the moment, and you know me, Dan, I'm realistic about it all.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Are Spurs still classed as a top 6? Well, they're the 6th most successful team in England, so I think so.
I mean, from that point of view, if you're asking if we're still in the top 6, from that point of view, yes. But
you can't just because Newcastle here for one season doesn't mean that it's going to be here next season. It's all speculation, isn't it?
No, of course it is. Of course it is. I think they'll kick on though, right? I think they've got money.
Yeah. Newcastle will.
They've got Champions League football. They've got money. They're scouting well. They're buying well. They'll be right up there. For me, it's about, you know, what's our level now? What is our level? Because if you actually take Kane and Son, and to a lesser degree Son, because he's had a poor year, if you take Kane out of this 11, guys, we are a very, very, very poor team.
You're below us.
I agree. If we take Kane out of this team, we're no better than Crystal Palace,
Brentford.
Bournemouth, Brentford. We're not. We're not.
Yeah.
Harry Kane has papered over every crack for, what is he, 8-9 seasons now, and what do you do?
He needs to leave.
I think he should leave. I think he should leave.
I'll be honest. I was one of those who actually wanted Kane to stay, just for the pure fact that I don't think you need to win trophies to be a world-class player. Like the goals that he's scoring and the carrying that he's been doing.
No one denies he's world-class
Harry Kane's
talent.
talent. What was that?
No one denies that he's world-class. Of course he is.
No, but some people do say that. Oh, he doesn't win trophies. Oh, he's
Yeah, but they're talking about having a sustained legacy. They're talking about like a successful legacy in the Premier. No, you're having a successful legacy at Tottenham, not the Premier League. But if he wins the most goals, then it's another question, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's what he wants. I think that's what he wants.
People still question it though.
I think he wants that Alan Shearer
You know
record.
this as well. People still question Kane. They're like, oh, he's doing it at Tottenham. Oh, he's doing this. Like people still do it. So for me, I was always one of those that was thinking, you know what? Let him stay. Like, who are, you know, others to say he's not.
Hey, if he says at Spurs and he wants to, then we've dodged the bullet anyways.
But now, I agree with Saba. I think it'll be absolutely foolish. Like, there comes a time where the levels have dropped so much at Tottenham that there's no point for him to stay. There's nothing to really, apart from him, there's nothing around it. He needs to leave. He needs to go elsewhere. I think Man United would be like perfect.
Mate, if we had Kane this season, I don't know where you could say we'd be right now, because the thing that we lack the most is a goal scorer, and it's just like
you think he's got 27 league goals in a really bad Tottenham team.
That is meant.
In a really bad Tottenham team. You think what he do with Eriksen, Bruno Fernandes, Anthony, Rashford, all these players around him, and mate, he'd score so many at Man United.
I think Rashford would have less goals to contribute for Kane, if that makes sense. Like, he would have less goals. So I don't know how much more goals we'd realistically have.
I actually disagree. I think Rashford will still score.
I don't. Why? Oh yeah, maybe potentially, because there's less work to do, and he can just.
Do you know why he'd still score goals?
Right. Because
you know why he'd still score goals, Kaz?
Sonny link up. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it would. He'd do for you what he does for us. When he's not scoring, he just drops deep into that hole, and he just put Rashford, Martial, Anthony, whoever through on goal. That's what he does.
Yeah, I don't know where Man United would be, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen next season. Man United still got a lot to deal with. I don't know. Kane likes
with Kane. Kaz,
pardon?
You reckon? Are you competing for the title with Kane?
No, we need way more. We need way more. I think
it's a good step.
I think it's a great step, but Man United need a control in that midfield. If you're not going to control the midfield, just give it to Man City or Arsenal again, because they're going to get controllers. They might even get Declan Rice and Caicedo this up. That it's not unknown, because Partey might leave because he's charged and all that crap. That's why he wants to fuck off to Saudi Arabia. Let's be honest. But Man United need more than that. We need backup centre. But look at Martinez. Varane got injured. Stop with Luke Shaw at centre back. If Arne Slot comes in,
it's squad depth again with United, and they've still got 3 or 4 first teamers. I think they could get in personally
and get sold. Sell Sancho, sell Maguire. Just sell a couple of the other boys, Lang and McTominay. Get some money out of that, and then use that to fund other things that we need. Personally, there's a lot of overrated players in our team. A lot.
Yeah, fair man. Sava, let's bring this in. Smokey, big up Smokey, love Smokey. So Sava, who would you bring in? I think he means manager, if you had the choice. And how would you rebuild with Kane going? As in, what striker would you get?
I mean, listen, I'll take Slot. I wanted Nagelsmann, but I definitely take Slot. I definitely take. I even said if it came to it, I'd take someone like a Vincent Kompany that is young, hungry, wants to prove himself and would build a young, quick, exciting team over the years. But Slot for me fits in perfectly. How would I rebuild without Kane? I think the interesting thing isn't so much about who we get as the goal scorer if Kane goes, because I think you can.
Evan Ferguson, mate, rebuild around that, man. If you want to give yourself 2 years or something, I think that's
He won't be cheap.
But the important thing though isn't just who the goal scorer we bring in, guys. At the moment, Spurs don't have a playmaker. We don't have any creativity. So for me, when Kane goes, we're losing our playmaker and our goal scorer. So straight away, you lose Kane. We're not getting anyone half as good as Harry Kane's joined Tottenham Hotspur, right? Because there's not many Kanes out there, and if they are, they don't join Tottenham Hotspurs. They join Man Cities and Chelseas and Bayern Munich's, etc. So for me, if Kane went, we'd have to go and get a Maddison type, a playmaker, somebody who is your main man in that hole that can thread balls through to whoever the striker is we buy. But listen, this is what hopefully the new director of football will be doing. And
who is your new director of football? Do you know?
They're hiring him in the next week. Romano said that there's 3 or 4 on the radar.
No names or just
yeah, they've talked about. I don't think he's the favourite, but they've talked about Pinto at Roma. They've talked about Reitner, who was at by Leverkusen. There's a few of them. There's a few names in a mix, but I think what they're going to do is name the manager and the director of football at the same time, and then let them start working.
It's a big move. Look at Newcastle. They got Dan Ashworth from Brighton, and not many people will talk about him, but that recruitment is probably coming from Dan Ashworth's involvement, because they haven't spent like crazy amount of money. They've spent money, Newcastle, but they've actually had a decent recruitment.
Yeah, they've only spent 180 million.
What was that?
They've only spent 180 million, ain't they?
But the players that they brought in, they could sell them on for higher value. So it's not like money wasted.
Not Anthony Gordon. They're losing money there.
Yeah, just apart from Anthony Gordon, but apart from like
I think they'll sell Maximan though. I think they'll sell him.
Yeah, so do I. He's overrated.
Yeah, he's overrated. I agree.
Just because he ain't got no end product and he's always injured.
Of course, he's Havoc, but he's got no end product whatsoever.
Luxury player. Look, he's Pepe, isn't he?
There used to be a player like that at Palace, but I'm not going to mention names because I actually like him. So,
listen, guys, we could. Who are you talking about?
He done a flick against Tottenham, and that's what I'm going to say. You lot definitely know him. And he destroyed Liverpool against
Palace.
Yeah, for Palace, there used to be a player like that. No end product, but he got sold to Everton for £30 million.
What's his bloody
the
name?
winger.
Anyway, let's continue.
Balassi.
I love Yannick, but that was a big question point with him as well. Like the end product, like he didn't really.
I was on a side like that. I was thinking, like, what?
Yeah, we saw him. Imagine we saw Balassi for £40 million. You don't think you're going to get at least 45? So yeah, good luck. Good luck with that.
We're not getting Elise. We don't need him. We've got Amad Diallo, who's better than him.
Oh yeah, sure. You got lots of players that's better than Elise.
Tottenham don't need him. They've got loads and loads of players.
He's got Kulusevski. He's better. They're better.
Listen, do you know someone? Henry messaged me today, Dan. Right, and Henry goes to me. He goes, "Just think about it." He said, "Brian Hill is playing in a Europa League final in a couple of weeks' time. Right, we sent him out on loan. Ndombele's just won the Serie A with Napoli. He said, and Harry Kane's sitting at Tottenham winning absolutely nothing. Just unbelievable, isn't it? Unbelievable.
It is shambles, man. It's a shambles at Tottenham. I can't lie. Listen, we're going to leave it there, man. We could go on forever. I could just leave Kaz and D at it for another hour, to be fair, but we are going to wrap it up. Kaz, let everyone know how they can find you, man.
Yeah, never a foul. Generic content without teams like Palace and all that top 6 stuff. Yeah, man. It's a good channel. Me and Dats run it. One supports United, one supports City, but it's not all United and City content. It actually is far from it. And we'll be live later on at 9 o'clock.
Good stuff, man. Make sure you head over to Never a Foul podcast, people. D, let them know, man. Let them know.
Back of the Nest YouTube channel, Crystal Palace content, reaction, previews, all of that. Just your general Palace content, and D Palace on Twitter as well. Occasional laughs at Man United, but apart from that, we keep it.
Get shot on by Brighton and Seagulls. Seagulls be the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, luckily our team ain't doing a treble on our heads. That's what I have to say.
Don't worry, you've never been in a treble race ever in your life.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Last time you had a final where we beat you, I swear.
All right, cool. You can compare Brighton. You can compare Brighton.
You remember that one? You remember that final? Do you remember that final?
All right, cool. Just remember FA Cup. I hate. Anyways.
Yeah. 2014. Get in the bin, mate.
Yeah.
15.
Man, these two need to come on more often, I tell you. Sava, let them know where people can find you, brother.
Yeah, football Heritage TV. Mostly, I mean, I tried to say it's not mostly Spurs content, but there's a lot of Spurs content. But I just talk about whatever football I want, Dan. You know, I'm a bit of a rebel like that. Really crazy. But yeah, but not a lot of content this weekend apart from my Spurs review show on Sunday because I'm off to Manchester tomorrow. So I'm having a night out in Manchester. Yeah, anyone can find me there. Not Manchester. I meant like on Heritage TV. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
Wicked. Make sure you head over to Never a Foul. Make sure you head over to D Palace and Back of the Nest, and make sure that you head over to Football Heritage TV, where you'll see a lot of us as well on those pods. Make sure you smash a like. We're about 400 away from 9K. So let's see if we can get that up, people. That'd be amazing. Smash a like, smash a subscribe. If you want to become a member, you can do. We're going to be back over the weekend, and then we'll be back for the regular shows next week. And Dan Lawless will be very happy because they're now in the final. So let's hope that Fiorentina can do the business.
Is everyone a Fiorentina fan for that game, by the way?
Everybody on this channel.
Is everyone ordered my kit?
I'm a West Ham fan for that. I can't lie.
Oh no!
Wait, quick before you. Why would you not want West Ham to win it exactly?
Their fans are unbearable, mate.
As a Spurs fan, all I'm gonna get if loads of my mates, the two best men at my wedding, were West Ham fans.
No, man, it's airport that way.
We're massive. We're massive. I can't.
For that little boy, I want him to win it.
Listen, I'm on loan to Roma for the rest of this season. That's all I know because my man Jose, he knows how to win trophies, unlike my club. So I'm on loan to Roma.
Fair, Jose knows how to win trophies. I bet they win that as well, man.
I bet they do as well. And it'll be
won the Conference League last year.
20% possession. They'll have 2 shots on goal. One of them will go in. They'll shut up shop. It'll be the worst performance you've ever seen. And then Jose will just give one of these at the end. They're back in the Champions League.
I just love, and like Savvy, you know, I've got you, man, and I love you. But I just love the fact that Conte and Jose, they've gone everywhere, won something everywhere, apart from when they managed Spurs.
Mate.
Sorry. Before we go, are we going to let Arsenal get in a dog called Win? Are we going to forget about that?
Oh, mate, what is all that about?
I know.
I heard this.
Ignored that on purpose.
No,
they're going a new dog. The dog's called Win, and it's like I think it's players' morale boost, or it's in the training ground.
I can't lie, that joke's gone over my head. I ain't got a clue what you're on about.
It's not a joke.
It's not a joke. It's real.
Apparently, it's not a joke.
It's not a joke.
Mikel Arteta brought in
Arteta has brought a black Labrador called Win
the dog's called Win
into the training ground. It's our first signing of the summer.
This might be as bad as a time he put speakers with Anfield music.
Yeah, man. It's a worry. I can't lie.
Good luck Win in your new job.
Recently.
Yeah, today.
Today it come out. Yeah.
Oh my god! It could be worse. You could have a derby that's focused on mascots.
It's not focused on mascots.
Just quickly, can I ask you guys a question just before we go? Like, obviously, I don't follow. Like on Instagram, I follow obviously Spurs official, and I'm sure you guys do with your own clubs. I don't follow your clubs on there, but does anyone else hate it when? Like Spurs official do this thing all the time, like we've just lost or whatever, and then on the Monday morning, pictures of like 5 or 6 players on a bike,
mate.
and they're all laughing and joking, and they go, the boys are working hard, and I'm like, they're barely moving their legs, they're laughing, like
it's embarrassing.
Does anyone else get fed up with that?
Apart from Arsenal, they're bringing a dog. They're had enough of the running video.
It's shocking.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just get about 2 minutes so we can take pictures. That's what they do.
They might have a dog D. We've got a Formula 1 racing track underneath our ground. So listen, swings and roundabouts.
It's better than a dog. I mean, a dog. You brought an animal.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
That's like Spurs bringing a dog to the training ground and calling it trophy, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what it is.
You might as well do that.
Just everyone around the training ground going trophy. Trophy.
We got
Look at
we got a trophy. Where's our trophy?
Wait, why are you
Nasty.
laughing? Wait, D, why are you laughing? You can't laugh at that.
Why are you laughing? You're about to get
You can't laugh, mate.
Bro, he's for Man United.
You
He's for
laugh
Man
at me on
United. Come on,
Division 2,
man.
mate.
Oh,
Like,
Kaz. Kaz is a savage, man.
Your
He's
rivals are about to
savage.
win the treble. I'm not going to have
I
this
can't lie.
from you.
Just like our rivals are better than us, your rivals, your mascot, the rivals are
They're
better
not
than
better
you
than
too.
us. It's only one season. They're not better than us. It was a
It's-
few.
Aren't your rivals Millwall?
It's not.
Yeah,
Not
it is.
I'm
It
just
is,
thinking
but we're
location.
irrelevant.
That's all, man. I'm
Yeah,
just looking
yeah,
at
yeah.
location.
Yeah.
That's what I don't get.
Millwall
Why
are
the hell are you
Palace.
beefing someone all the way on the coast?
We own Brighton. It's only
Mascot
one good
RB,
season.
innit? That's what I'm telling
We
you
only-
now.
we
They
only-
got a
they've
bird.
only-
We've got a bird. Let's call it the bird derby, mate.
All right,
Like,
then, you got 3 trophies to worry about, bro.
Oh, we've got a bird.
You got 3 trophies to worry about.
Why can't we
You
get
got one
involved in that and make it a threesome? We've got a
You got
bird.
one.
Well,
you got a bunch of dogs.
Your one is on the verge of like looking like a chicken. He ain't look like a bird.
Oh wow! I mean,
can't
listen, I tried to end this stream a long time ago. It seems.
Oh yeah, sorry.
But,
Let's end it. I need to go.
Talking of
Sorry.
dogs, I can hear one barking now.
Sorry.
Wynn's cousin is barking, mate.
Yeah,
Wins.
Wynn's
He's heard
cousin.
about win.
excuse me. That's
He's heard about
Frank.
win.
All right, that's Frank barking,
Frank.
not Win.
Frank,
Win.
Win's
Man
cousin,
said
Frank.
Wynn's cousin.
Tottenham and
I
Arsenal
love that,
rivals.
man.
What draw?
Right, let's get out of here, people.
Right.
Big up the 3 of you. Big up the chat. Make sure you smash a like on the way out, and we will see you next time. Take it easy,
Up the
people.
Palace.
Yeah.
Not.